Hey, great tens. So today we are dealing with population, the easiest topic, guys. After the atmosphere, the rocks, geomorphology. Oh my God! Now we're just thinking about the world and how the world has different people in different spaces. So, firstly, we're going to deal with population distribution and density. It's very important to know the terms, so we're going to break it down. So, population distribution deals with how people are spread in the world. It's very clear that the spread is not equal. As we know, in the villages there's less people, in the towns there's more people, basically. So when then we go to population density, it deals with the measurement of how people are in an area. Those terms are very hard to distinguish because both of them they're very similar to each other, but that's going to be clear later on. Well, where do people where do people actually always go to? You know what I mean? Where there's a lot of density or the density is low. So we know that there's more density in the cities. There's low density in the mountains, the cold areas, the desert areas. We all want to be in the warm areas. We want to be in the area where we can get water and be able to survive. That's how it is. Human nature is like that. So every time when you think about population, always relate it to yourself. Think about the things that you see every day because this topic, that's the nicest part about it. It's about what happens around you. Population structure, actually, we're dealing with the measurements used to describe population. If there's more people who are being born than people dying, then that means that there's population growth. Birth rate basically means the number of births per thousand people in a year. Then death rate means that the number of deaths per thousand people in a year. Therefore, life expectancy is something that also plays a major factor when it comes to measuring population growth. Therefore, it's very important when it comes to measuring it and looking also into the fertility rate of the population. Now we're actually going to be dealing with the factors that influence population change. Birth rates influences it, like we said previously. If many people are born and there's less people dying, then that means that there's going to be more people in the world. And then if there are many people who are dying and there's less people being born, there's going to be a decrease in population. Life expectancy, we all know it has to do with how long people are expected to live. So in the case where, like today, there's an advancement of technology, meaning that life expectancy is very high because people are being saved by medications and doctors, the advancement of technology, all those things play a big role. Fertility rate and natural increase also play a big role when it comes to the influence of population change. Please do your homework and look into population pyramids because it's very important when it comes to life expectancy and sex, gender, and life when it comes to population. But just to make things clear is that things like poverty affects the population. Things like contraceptive, people preventing also affected. Things like wars, diseases, like COVID, it decreased the population. Look into those things. COVID-19 came, killed people, decrease of population. So then we also have people like doctors who are saving lives they came with this vaccine. Next thing, people now are no longer dying. More people are being saved. Increases population. Those things are things that you should look into. Practical. Make it practical when you look into geography. Relate it to yourself. Makes things easier for you. All right? Yeah. Now we're actually going to be looking into this pyramids and this basically diagrams here. So I literally looked into these diagrams based on what was on the Via Africa Geography textbook. So you guys can use it as a reference. It's very easy to understand. It's good for everybody. Cool. Yeah, right. So the first one, we're looking at this concave profile. Here we are seeing a situation where it's stage 1, high and stationary. What we're dealing with here is where the birth rate is high because there's no contraceptive like back in the days. Um, there's high death because obviously we don't have scientists, doctors that are advanced to cure the diseases. And then we see things like poor diet and diseases affecting people. So now we have a population that grows very slow and steady because we there's high death and there's high um, birth rate, right? I think that is very understandable. The second stage that we're actually dealing with here is basically the early expanding, right? As you can see, the triangle is a bit like, but bigger than the other one, yeah. So the birth rate here is high. Children are needed for labor and all those things. Death rate falls due to improvement of diets and healthcare systems. This is where people are starting to like, you know what, we need more people. So we're having a very like a sort of like a growth when it comes to population growth, but it's a rapid growth. You understand? Yeah. So the following one that we're going to actually be dealing with is stage 3, the late expanding, right? Here, birth rate falls due to growth of urban areas. Uh, Labor is needed, guys. Like, you know how it is in urban areas. Death rate is low due to there's good care, there's diets, the scientists are doing their good job and research on how to saving people, and they're actually excelling in that. So there's growth. But at the same time, it's a bit slow, right? Then we go to stage 4, which is low and stationary. Here we're dealing with birth rate, the rate low, as how like women's rights are improving. People are like, nah, we don't want to have a lot of children now because we have rights. We're feminists. We want to have like rights like man. We just want to prevent. We just want to become businesswomen. You know, now all those things change everything, right? And then now death rate is also low because of the quality of healthcare. So now we're having a situation where population is stable. And the fifth stage, the declining stage, we have a situation where birth rate falls as women choose higher education and careers over having children. Because I mean, like, it's a job to have children, a very big job, guys. So now women don't want that. Then death rate is low due to the continued medication. So now we have a situation of population is decreasing because less people are being born, right? How have countries managed population growth? Contraceptive, guys. Here in South Africa, birth controls are for free. The government has made sure that it gives out contraceptive to people so that they can be able to prevent from, being pregnant and having children and stuff, increasing the population. And then China, back in the days, decided that it's going to have one child policy, meaning that every family has to have one child because we know that China has the highest population in the world. So this basically helped in decreasing the population. But the problem was that with this in China, they valued more men than women. So it created an imbalance between men and women in terms of like the population. So all those factors, they play a big role when it comes to population, guys. The kinds of movements that are there have to do with migration, and migration can be classified into 3 components, which is immigration, emigration, and international migration. The first one is immigration, which deals with the movement of people into the country. So those people are moving inside, guys. Emigration, it deals with the people moving out of the country. These people are leaving, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people right now are having dreams that they don't want to be in South Africa. They just want to move out. They just want to go to a different country. That has to do with immigration. And then when it comes to international migration, this is actually controlled by the government. The reason why is people decide to migrate, it has to do with many things, guys. It could be due to wars and conflicts. Understandable. People in countries such as Congo that are just not stable, people are gonna run away because there's so many like this group wars and all that. So people would decide to leave, right, and be refugees into other countries. Bad treatment, race, religion, and political beliefs, unsafe conditions and crimes, diseases, shortage of food. Everyone wants to be in a country where they can access to food. Those are push factors. They make you want to leave. It's called forced migration. Then there's voluntary migration, which is the pull factors. So people are looking for better employment opportunities. They decide, okay, I'm just going to leave to Johannesburg because there's more jobs opportunities compared to be in a situation where you are in a village somewhere in South Africa. To be with their friends and family, that's very important. Some people move, because of they want to be with their loved ones. And then better climate. Who wants to live in a very terrible situation? Like, who wants to be in a place where there's climate that is not good and suitable for their crops, for their livelihood and all that? Better education opportunities, because those opportunities, they're very important because every parent wants their children to become better people. So those are actually pro factors, right? What is rural urban migration? Rural urban migration has to do with the movement of people moving from the rural areas to the urban areas. So this process is called urbanization because people want to go to the places where things are happening, So you find out that less people live in rural areas and more people are there, like in places such as in Gauteng, which is the economic hub of Africa. More people live in places where they can be able to find jobs or go to places where they follow trends, such as going to the Western Cape. Those are the factors that also have to do with population and how it is distributed around the world. So the consequences of this movement of people moving from the countryside to the cities, this actually results in a situation where, like in the rural areas, there will be few workers on farms. The businesses will be closed. Unemployment will increase. And then on the other side, in urban areas, cities will become overcrowded. There's less jobs available. There's going to be unemployment. Crime increases. Social problems. There's going to be too few houses and so many informal settlements such as shacks and stuff, as we can see in different cities. So it's going to be difficult to improve services because of how the city is so overcrowded. There's going to be an unhygienic condition. Thank you so much, Greatens, for actually tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and please put on your notification button so that you can see the next post and your next update in terms of your course. We will see you on the next video. Stay tuned and stay alive.